right. I think that should work. I mean, we can look back at we've been looking at previous weeks. We saw this, and you were looking at this as potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then I did mention, was it Wednesday, I think, Thursday maybe, that we could still have until we actually come up here and tap into this sort of 618 from the high of 2 to the low of 3 to invalidate that this could be a wave 4 still. Then you would have to come up there, sweep that, and that would invalidate, and you would go up from there. So of course we did not do that, and we kept on going down. We had a strong push down, finally finishing off that 5-wave structure to find a low at 78k. So I think that's if you were to look at the monthly, so you have a look at that. We take some fibs from swing low to swing highs. That we did tap the 0.5. So you tap the 0.5 fib here. So if as we suspect, this is a potential macro wave 4, a macro wave 4 has a common target between 382 and 0.5. So this here is a bullish tap, and you had a beautiful reaction of it, and you started pushing up from there. If you would have came down here and tapped into the 618, that would have decreased the chance that this is a macro wave 4 and that we could potentially be topped in this market. But now we had a beautiful reaction of the wave 4 or 0.5 fib, marking this low of 79k. Then we're looking on the lower time frames here, and we did see a fine 5-wave structure V-shaped recovery. As we can see here, that's a straight up V-shaped recovery. And you have a clear 5-wave structure here where you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the high of 5. Then this pullback, I would have liked to see a deeper pullback here. But of course, we did not end up getting that. I did say a shallow pullback, but I did not expect it to be this type of shallow. But you have a 3-way structure right there. And then you started off today very slow. And then we had this bullish news pushing us straight into this potential 1, 2, 3 wave. Now what we're looking for is to find out our final wave 4 and 5. This wave 4 can be slightly deeper because this wave 2 was so shallow. But of course we are extremely bullish right now. There's no saying if this wave 3 is done right now. This could be here your 1, 2, 3 inside of the wave 3. And we were still waiting for a 4, 5 before actually finding the top of wave 3. And then finding a 4 on a pullback. And then finishing off our local sort of wave 5 to finish off that 5-wave impulse towards the upside. So after that, of course, this is going to be a impulsive structure here, and what we're looking for is a 3-way structure pullback. It may be very shallow. You could just see something like this and you pump from here, or you actually get some sort of deeper pullback. I'm not expecting too much pullbacks, guys. We have a tendency that if Bitcoin actually is bullish, I have this price action layup from 2024 ETF. You can see that once we actually start forming these impulsive structures, here you did have pretty clear 5-way structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you do not get that deep sort of pullback. You usually only get some type of very shallow pullback, not even below the wave 4, putting basically just a higher low right there, and then just keeps going from there. So just comparing this, it looks extremely similar. We talked about this over multiple weeks, how similar it looked, and if we keep playing in that sense, then we are likely somewhere in this region right now, where you basically have potentially one more leg up, and then you look for some sort of consolidation before you actually start forming or pushing up again to form a new high. So break the previous highs, which you would be looking back here. Oops. In a similar sense there. So not expecting too much when it comes to pullbacks, so I might have to play this market quite aggressively. But if you do see some sort of consolidation, you build up liquidity on both sides, then you are basically able to take out the liquidity before you actually put in that move. So that's what we would be looking for, or I would be looking for personally, when it comes to positions. I'm not FOMO long in this. I know I had a position back here, but I closed it too early. I closed it back up at these highs because I was expecting some sort of a deeper pullback here and then push up. But it's fine, like overall, very bullish. I bought a bunch of spot for Bitcoin, so that's absolutely amazing. That's perfect reaction of that. And in terms of macro waves, if you were to look at it, this would be, you would be looking at this as a double 1-2. So it's a 1-2 1-2, and then you have 1-2 1-2. Then you have a 3 4 5 4 5. So you're still looking for one more high at least. And then depending on how high this high actually pushes, we don't know yet. All we can do is speculate of previous price action and such. And we talked about it previous weeks. I would be well aware of this 1272, which would be at 115, and 1618, which would be 122.9. If you were to look at the lower timeframes here, you are slightly starting to pull back here. We did invalidate the possibility of this being a double 1-2 back here, where you have 1-2 1-2 3 4 5. We basically just smashed through that. We also had another bearish scenario at 89.5, but that's also, we just ran through it, so that's invalidated right there. So currently I do not have any bearish scenario in that sense. We could of course, if you do come back down here and you start tapping into this high of 1, where it would be slightly more down here. If you tap into that, that would invalidate that this is a wave 4. And that we are actually putting in an ABC 3-way structure right there. That would be the high. Then you start forming impulsive towards the downside. But your confirmation of that would be back at 86.3. So if you tap into 86.3, then we can start looking for shorts again. But until then, I am favoring longs. I don't think we go down there. You can look at this. We have an inverse inverse fair value gap. That's how it is, at 90.6. So watching that, and you have a normal imbalance at 89.4. In terms of a pullback here, if this is only 3 structures right now in this way 3, you would still be looking for one more leg up. If you were to look very aggressive longs, you would have to sort of play this a bit by ear, tight stop losses and such, and you look for a pullback into the 382 or the 0.5, which is your common target for a wave 4. I'm gonna remove this so I can actually draw it out. In terms of this being a 1 2 3 4 5, so that's where you would have to play it aggressive longs. Stop loss would be below these wicks, or you could just set it at the 618, which just decrease the chance that we are putting in a wave 4. So that would be around there, and then you would target back into the highs initially, and then higher levels from that. So that would be the one aggressive trade, higher risk. But if you want to try to catch momentum somewhat here later on, that's where I would be looking. Same applies for this wave 4. So if this is a 1 2 3 4 5, And this wave 3 is still first works here. Put in a wave 3, you have a pullback. We drop fibs from the lows to the highs, wherever. We don't know where the highs are yet, but the highs of wave 3, and you look for the same thing there, pullbacks into the 0.5. And that's where you can start looking for some potential scalp longs as well. They do not have to hit those levels. They can bounce before, but it's just the common levels we watch, because it's all about probability. So 0.382 and 0.5 are the common levels we see a bounce of most of the time. You can see a shallow pullback would be at the 236. More unlikely. I mean, of course, now that's wrong, but more unlikely, but still a potential target in case of a very strong bullish momentum. I like to use the 382.5 to actually get somewhat of a good risk to reward right there. Because 236 would most of the time be a bit too wide stop loss for my liking in terms of risk. I mean, that's basically what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. Feel free, guys, to look back at ETF, see how it played out back then. It's January of 2024. You basically have a very similar reaction. You come back down, you have a V-shaped recovery, you consolidate just slightly, no deeper pullback, getting that fifth wave up. Then you have a sideways accumulation, and then you blow up from there. So that's pretty much what we're looking for at the moment. In terms of alts or Ethereum, everyone knows I was looking for us first and foremost to take out these wicks. We had these lows all the way back here, equal lows, which we did take out. Basically, we just tapped it pretty much. So you tapped into it, you had a reaction, you started pushing up. I also had levels all the way down at 1.6k, 7.7k, 1.7k. Would also have liked for us to take out this wick back here, but we did not. We did take it out on Coinbase charts, so that's interesting, but we did do that. And then, of course, you did get that final reaction here. You did sweep the lows. We were looking for this short last week. I don't think, I can't remember even when I did that setup. Oh yeah, maybe it was here. So we were looking for this, push up, take out the highs, and then come back down. You never got to sweep up, so you never hit an entry. But we ended up pushing down instead. I mean, it pushed down into our zone of interest. Strong reaction. I mean, it's a massive level. It's a macro low. You have bounced off it many times before. So in terms of that, Ethereum does actually look quite good there. You did also not leave a bunch of ugly wicks behind, so that's very good. And we did also break through the 786 and the 618 in terms of reclaims. So same thing applies here. You have a clear 5-wave structure at the lows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did actually long this yesterday. I forgot to call it. Or I think I actually left an entry, not an entry. I left a bid out, and that got hit. It was basically night time or early morning for me, I think. So that did get hit. You had a pullback, a 3-way structure pullback right there, tapped into the 618. Perfect tap at 618, consolidated a bit here, tried to push up, formed. That's basically our first wave inside of the 3. And then you have this massive push up, which basically puts us in the same state as everything else at the moment, where we are in a wave 3. You're still looking for a wave 4 and a 5. You did take out all of these previous highs, but you do have a bunch of liquidity built up around that 2.5, which also is a very mental level. 2.5k has been extremely important. We bounced off it multiple times back here. 2.5. Don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's basically the mid-range of this previous range. So that's sort of the next level you would look to flip. But momentum is strong up here. That's a break of structure, put in a higher high. All we're looking for now is another high low, push up. And then on the higher time frame, you're looking for this high or low, push up here, high, pull back, put in a higher low, and then continue from there. To take out the liquidity towards 2.9 and 3K. Let's have a look. Solana, same thing. I mean, we have been looking at this for weeks now, guys. Of course, we did push lower than I would have liked. We did push lower below 140. That's where I was looking for us to get protected. You push below that, you have a consolidation, and then you have a deviation back up, reclaimed, and then you have this massive candle up. Do I think this is the low? I do think this is the low. You have a clear 5-wave structure down in a potential ABC flat to finish that structure off. For us to then start forming new impulsive structures back up towards the upside here, where you are likely in a wave 1 here, and then we're looking for a 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish off a larger scale wave 1. That's where you start looking for some sort of a pullback. It doesn't have to be that deep. It can be a lot more shallow than that. All depends on our momentum and so on. And then for us to finish off and start forming that larger impulsive structure where you do have waves from all the way back down here. So if you look at this, you had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have an ABC flat. This pullback is likely to be more shallow also in terms of if this here is your wave 1, this is going to be your wave 2. You're looking for a wave 3, 4, and 5, and so on. Wave 3 is the most aggressive wave you will have out of all of the waves, which also most of the time leads to us getting a more shallow pullbacks because of how strong the momentum is. So I'm not expecting too much when it comes to pullbacks. But of course, lower time frames you will always see pullbacks, always, every single time. Here we can start looking for this inverse head and shoulders also. I know this is a mess right now, so I'm just gonna remove that. Also gonna remove that for now. And here you do also have basically you take out the liquidity, nice sweep of everything, and then we start pushing up. I do have a lower time frame chart for this also somewhere, I believe. Yes, here we do. And that's on the lower time frames what we're looking at. Wave 3 common target is the 1618, and anything above that. Here you did have a nice one structure up, pull back. You're forming in your wave 3. You're looking to finish this off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finish it off. Pull back, wave 4, and then a finished wave 5. This wave 5 can be everything from push us up to 220, 210, 200, and so on. I mean, there's multiple targets here. Yeah, I did have a previous daily key level at 199. You have a range point of control at 194, and you have a weekly level at 182. So these are levels we watch for potential maybe scalp shorts or just a pullback into another long. I am favoring longs, so that's what I'm preferably going to looking for us to actually start building momentum here, similar to what we had here towards the downside, but back to the upside instead. I know a lot of people are still going to try to short this because people are like, yeah, news based movement. We are gonna pull back the entire way. I don't really see that's the case. I trade price action. I don't have to keep in mind the news really on that front. Of course, this move up here is a lot of times explained by the news, but we were kind of also expecting this. I did tweet about this even, where I did expect us to have a nice wave up, a shallow pullback over the weekend, and then potentially Sunday, Monday pump again. And of course we did get that. So that's actually beautiful. USDT dominance. Well, that's a beautiful sweep. We were looking at this from, I think I was actually on Greenish stream. Equal highs, swept them, wicked up. Perfect reaction there. And a very aggressive pullback. So I think that wave B is in. We can clearly see here 1, 2, 3 wave structure. B moves in a 3-way structure. What we're now looking at is a 5-wave structure back to fill this C. And that's in terms of impulsive structures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or however you move. This might not be the low. You could actually push lower than that. But if you were to look at something like a 1-to-1 extension, that's where you would get the final of this wave C. So that's what we're looking for. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that indicate that we are at the lows right now. Like this were the lows, and we're starting to look lower for USDT dominance and higher for crypto. You had a clear 5-way structure back up here to have that blow off top, and then had an A structure here down, a B structure up, and now we're looking for a C final push down. This is something we have had for multiple weeks now also. I did have a bearish harmonic here, which did target the 786, which kind of did get invalidated, or it all depends on how you play it. But we did have it the 786, so that was the harmonic target. So still somewhat valid. I mean, you have a wick up, but that's fine. Overall, you did not come above the 618. So that's generally also another confluence for us to push lower on USDT dominance. Bitcoin CME will leave a gap. We did bounce off the gap. We did not completely fill the gap at 78k, 77k ish. But you will see a gap today where we do leave a gap here, something like that, or maybe even higher, maybe here on market open. So maybe you do come back down and fill that sort of 50% before you actually move up again. Total market cap, deviation below. Deviation below, reclaimed important level here at 2.9, and then just broke up. Like, there's not much to it. It's just crazy candle. I think you did tap into, yeah, you did tap into previous highs, which is very good. Very nice reaction of that. And you are looking at a V-shaped recovery right there. Others is also at the level of interest here. We did have that too marked out. You were looking for a potential more sweep of the wick. We did never ended up getting that. You put in a higher low, and now all we're looking for, you're still consolidating in this range. Bitcoin dominance is of course still strong, aside from a few individual altcoins. Like Solana, XRP, ADA, so on. We can have a look at Bitcoin dominance actually. And this is also playing out as we expected, to be honest. We had this beautiful push down in wave 1, beautiful retest for wave 2 at the 0.5. And now we are looking for that 5-wave structure here to finish off this wave 3. It's gonna be it's a wave 3, so it's the most aggressive wave. So we should be able to see some alt run here, maybe ETH soon. All you have we're looking bouncing off right now is that mid range of that previous uptrend that we are looking for us to break, come down here, push lower into this region, or even lower than that into that previous low of the B wave. In terms of targets here, if you were to look at fib extensions, we draw fibs from the C high to the 1 low to the high of wave 2. Common target for a wave 3 is going to be your 1618. So that's slightly lower than that. So that's what we're looking for. And then potentially a bounce for a wave 4 and then finish off your wave 5 to potentially sweep this low back here at 54%. Then you could be getting a nicer sort of reaction here. We do have a nice 3-way structure up again. You see alt getting outperformed, Bitcoin outperforming alts a bit. This may also just be a more shallow where you do not push that high. It's all based off momentum and so on, such. And of course Ethereum, if Ethereum actually does catch on. For us then to start looking for lower ones again, where you do have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into potentially this 48% first is where I'm looking at 48. And then if you do push lower than that, we can start looking into back to mid range and range low. That is quite a bit left, so that would be pure speculation here, guys. We don't have any price action to confirm that we would go that low. But in terms of structure at the moment, Bitcoin dominance is leaning for lower, and alts and Ethereum should be seeing strength compared to Bitcoin, or with Bitcoin even. Total 3. It's a beautiful reaction right there. You did have this wick down, which we did look at previous weeks. Oops, that's moved. Deviation below that previous high. You did came down again, did the same thing here. You did tap the 86 or below the 86, which does somewhat increase the chance of you actually coming back down again. But in terms of overall structure, it's rather unlikely. And there is higher chance that this is the start of a impulsive structure, same as Bitcoin and Solana and Ethereum, and you're looking for a wave for 5 to finish that off, pull back, and then keep going from there. If you were to break down into the low of range 1, which would be at 830 billion, then we look back wicks, then you can start looking for that deviation back up again. We can have a scroll through the typical altcoins we do, like AVAX. Now that's an old setup from me. Totally forgot about it. I think we talked about this Thursday and also Sunday. But yeah, I mean, you can back down, you swept the liquidity. Nice reaction, deviation back up, you swept the liquidity, internal liquidity once again. And then you just start flying from there. So if you guys did remember that, then that would have been a beautiful entry, and you're currently pushing up. And we do have a bunch of liquidity built up. So first and foremost would be back up here at that 26, 27 bucks. And then from there, you would be looking at, I would be looking all the way up. If you're after sweeping this and you actually have a nice bottom forming in here again, then I'm looking all the way back at the 382, which would be 35, 36 bucks to keep that going. A bunch of ugly highs also back here, and even all the way back at the highs. So I've said it many times, it's just a matter of time before you actually do come back and take these out and tap into them or whatsoever. that's just my overall look here on AVAX. We can zoom out to the daily. You did get a bounce off the 86. You swept external liquidity. You swept internal liquidity. So overall, just a good reaction. So now it's all a matter of do you manage to push through this actually breakout here. You do have this falling wedge where you're still looking for us to break above that 786, which is going to be at 25.55 bucks. For us to continue back up. So you break through that, you maybe reaction of that 236, see some consolidation here, higher time frame candle closes. You look for some sort of deviation here or divergence or anything that confirms it, and then you look for a push back into the 382. Reclaim of the 382, you build strong momentum, and then you can push back into all of these previous highs that we have left. Guys, feel free to send some alt requests also in the chat. If you have anything you wanted to go through. Tau, we looked at this last week. Not super strong reaction, but you did come back here, which we did expect. You got that reaction back down. You'd never ended up tapping that at 786, but you did kind of front run that, and then you started pushing up. It's not as strong as you do see on a bunch of coins right now. You do still have that 5-way structure there. You have a 3-way structure right there. And this looks like we are forming a 1, 2, 3. This 3 is very weak, so to say. You would have liked to see another more push here. What you want to see from Tau here is going to be put in that higher low right here to put in a potential wave 1. Actually, that would be, yeah, I mean a wave 1 inside of the 3, and then you have a 3, 4, 5. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In terms of this being a 1, 2, 3. And then you have a 4, 5 here to finish off this potential wave 3, and then it will pull back, wave 4, and then I'll push it back up for a wave 5. I'm gonna remove all of my old stuff. But if you do come back down here and you break the lows, you are looking to at least sweep up this liquidity at 320, and then potentially come back down and tap into that 786 fib that you did previously front ran, and then push up. Do we have any other coin? Super. One we've been tracking for a while. What we're expecting, we were expecting this downtrending channel type of consolidation. You did get that slightly lower than what I had written out here, but you got that. Now what you're looking for, I mean, this is almost a falling wedge more. Now you're looking for a reclaim of the point of control, which is going to be 0.63. Some higher time frame candle closes here, push up into that 786, where you either get a reaction, come back down and then push up, or come back down, sweep the lows, and then come back up again. I would expect us to start seeing these pushes back up into the 786s and such. You did sweep the lows back up down here. You never swept the lows back down here. So if you do break down again, that's where we are looking. It's going to be at 0.5. I'm still leaning towards higher on most stuff at the moment. Structure is I mean, this is low volume coin at the moment, I see. But you do have that. You're looking for a 4 or 5 here. Pull back potentially and then keep pushing from there. Jupe. Another one we've been waiting and talked about a lot. you have this sort of flag formation or whatever you want to call it. We were looking for us to sweep all of these previous lows, which we did, which is massive. So that's now where you can start looking for longs again here on the next pullback for us to come back up into range highs and maybe finally to break out into higher levels. Maybe finally break above that $1 area, which is usually where price struggles when it comes to this. What more do we have? I mean, I can start going through hype. You have a breakdown from that sort of a consolidation triangle formation. Still doesn't look quite strong. You are just consolidating here at the moment. Maybe you do finish that off and start breaking up here after putting in a higher low. It's not convinced fully yet here. You did have an internal liquidity sweep right there. But this still has the potential of coming back and sweeping these lows before actually taking off. So that's the two things or markets I would be looking at is putting in a higher low right here or pushing back and sweeping the previous lows back at 16.7. Near also never got a sweep. We tapped almost into it, but not really. I might just have to clean this chart completely here. Let's see. Never tapped that. It's 76. You did wick the 76 back down here. I never like that you leave these sort of levels like behind. So maybe some alts are not done yet. Maybe there are still some going lower. But of course, we have to wait and confirm that if this is a 1, 2, and you're looking for a 3, 4, 5, that would actually confirm this is an impulsive structure. For us to then look for a pullback and for longs continuation there. If you do stop here at this 3 high and you start pushing back down into the low of high of wave 1, then you can start looking for us to come back down and sweep levels of 2.6 and 2.5. And that's where you can start looking off for more higher time frame swings. So those are the scenarios I'm looking for there. So a mess also. Just gonna clean my stuff up. We are looking for a lower push to finish off this potential 5 structure here towards the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you never got to 5, so maybe this is, if this is the low, then what we are looking for is a 3-way structure down here, or a 5-way structure in a different manner, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's the low. But this being a 1, 2, 3 is also highly unlikely, which does make me question some of these altcoins. Maybe if you do have this as an ABC right there, this is an ABC, and then you have a 5-way structure on here, and this, maybe this is in that case an ABC, but that also being a 1, 2, and you're looking for another 1, 2 to put in a low, and then you have your final push in a 3, and then you have a 4, 5 for us to finish off that high, and then a 4, 5 again and take out those previous highs at around $6, 6.5. So that's pretty much what would confirm some altcoins, because we do have a bunch of altcoins which did not sweep the lows. which I of course do not like, but there is still a potential of this being a double 1-2, so you have a 1-2-1-2 before you start forming these massive impulsive waves as in a wave 3 and then a 4-5-4-5. Because this back here does look like an impulsive structure, but this structure here is what makes everyone question their sanity when it comes to Eldritch waves. But just playing it simple, that's how I will be looking at it. Give me a higher pop per share, take out these highs, make a clean breakup structure, and then we can start looking for longs again. You didn't take out this high back up here. We want to see what this local structure does now after that. Maybe you do get this in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then we look for pullbacks. So if you do get a pullback in a 3-way structure, then I can start looking for longs still again for us to come back up higher. You have first levels of 382, of 0.5, and you have all of these previous highs, which with liquidity around at 3.8, 3.9, and 3.5. So that's a potential trade right there. Something like that, push back into 0.5. And then for us, after finishing off this initial structure here, we look for this. So those are the two different setups I would be looking at the moment. Maybe you do get a short somewhere here in this region where you do sweep the highs first. You put in the high of 1. And then you get that sculpture it back into areas of interest for longs. Oops. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for that. Do you guys have any coin requests? Or are we feeling pretty done? XRP, same thing here. You can back down. I don't think you tapped 886. That's the 786 it looks like. Yeah. 786. And then a boom bam reaction of that. So that's beautiful. Up 30% on the day. Swept internal lows with a nice V-shaped recovery of that. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could see a larger 4 like that. And then you push back there, and then you start looking for larger pullbacks. And these are just some potential fibs we could be looking at for positions in the future here. Would be a potential scalp long there. And that would be another potential swing long opportunity back there. I mean, we can have a look at the heat map. Start off by looking at the fear and greed index. We are still in fear, which is good, at 22. We did tap extreme fear. So that's very great. I mean, last week was neutral, which is insane. But it's very nice looking. We have not hit this low since what feels like forever, but I don't think even if I can see it on this chart. I cannot, but since I think it was 2022, back in FTX crash. And as for heat map, we can have a look at CoinGlass, and I'm going to have a look at the 1 week heat maps and we can see that our liquidity remains above. We did sweep a whole bunch already, but the closest liquidity we do have is all the way up to 97.3, potentially up to 100.6. So if we were to look at that, 97.3, which would be around this size, and 100, what was it? 100.6, which would be above D size. So in terms of liquidity, we are going up. Yeah, so this is the long I closed too early. Well. I am feeling pretty down there, guys. Unless there's like a last minute question here. I will see you guys on Greenie's. Or is Greenie having a VC today? I think he is. Or maybe not, I don't know. But potentially Greenie's VC later today. So, see ya guys there. And thank you for listening.